Hi, welcome back to the framework course. Great to have you back. So I'm wondering, how did it go for you this past week as you were working on your framework? Um, was the document helpful, the template where you put all the ingredients to your framework? Did you have any breakthroughs as you worked on your framework? And would anyone like feedback on their framework, those who are here live in the course? If you're watching this later, you can come to the bonus Q&A call, which happens once a month. There are two calls a month for different time zones, and you can go there and get my feedback on your framework if you'd like. So would anyone here like feedback on their framework? We'll put it up on the screen. You'll either share the Google Doc just with me privately and I'll put it up on my screen, or you could, if you want to share it with the whole world, you could put it inside the chat. That's up to you. So while I'm waiting for any of you brave ones to step forward, or foolish ones, whichever one you think it is, I'm going to answer a couple of questions. Let's see here. Um, Great. And Sharon says, I'm creating a new framework for a one-on-one personal retreat day, something I want to do for a while. Angie, awesome. Thank you for being brave and stepping forward and sharing your framework with us. I'm just going to answer some questions first and see if there's anybody else who wants to share their framework for feedback. Let's see here. Oops. Let's see. Okay. Let me share the screen here. Okay. Couple of questions. A lot of you know Tad Hargrave and his work. He's great, marketing and business teacher. He's a friend of mine, and I learn a lot from him as well. So if you don't know his work, be sure to check it out. It's marketingforhippies.com. And one of you asked, hey, how does this framework stuff compare to Tad's point of view idea? Well, I found a concise summary of it because I had learned Tad's point of view idea years and years ago, or whenever he first brought it out years ago, and I had forgotten what it was about. So I had to find a quick summary of it. So let me just give you a quick summary of Tad's. He was being interviewed on this podcast, and basically, your point of view is the map you use to get the customer student from one island to the other. And he uses this metaphor, analogy, which one is it? I don't know, of your customer or your student is on island A. They are, maybe they're in pain, or they want to get somewhere, they want to have a goal, they want to experience something. They're on island A and they're trying to get to island B. Okay, they're on island A, they're trying to get to island B, and your point of view is the map to get them there. That's how a lot of marketers and kind of think about how to do marketing and solve people's problems. Oh, you're here and you want to get here. So my solution is the boat to get you from here to here, or however you want to think of it. So Tad has a kind of a way of thinking about it, and basically he thinks that the point of view. So basically, I'll just say this is Tad's framework for how to think about frameworks. That's all this is. Not all this is. I mean, he's thought a lot about it, but that's what this is. That's my point of view on what this is. So Tad's framework, how Tad teaches framework, it's basically these three things. What is the route? The progression, this step, and then this step, and then that step, or the formulas, the templates, the series of steps, the best fighting chance, no guaranteed. Top of the pyramid. I don't know what that means, but those of you who know Tad's point of view stuff, you can chime in on this. And the compass, the sense of direction, the values, the principles. It's like, hey, while you're taking these steps, keep these principles and values in mind, is what he calls the compass. And then finally, the map, the understanding of the world, the context is what I would call that, the overall system. It's like, okay, just so you know, we're talking 2-dimension here, or we're talking 3 dimensions here, and this is generally how the world works. These are the values that we believe in, and this is the step-by-step getting from island A to island B, or from this city to that city, from this pain to not having the pain, from yearning for the goal to having achieved the goal, etc. So I think that's a very elegant, it's a nice way of thinking about creating a framework. As you can imagine, the way you and I are working with it in this course, all of these would be part of your ingredients, right? the document that I shared with you last time. Remember the ingredients? Raise your hand if you remember the ingredients. There's, the problems, the exercises, the steps. Well, you can copy and paste these things into your ingredients section and just work on it. So I don't think that a framework necessarily. See, here's I guess maybe here's the difference between me and Tad's thinking on this. I don't think a framework necessarily has this step, that step, this step, that step. Right? It doesn't necessarily. I mean, because like for example, like the wheel of life, the coaching wheel, right? Coaching wheel that doesn't have steps. That's just like, hey, which one you want to work on, right? What do you want to work on, right? Oh, I want to work on my family relationships. Great. Okay, let's work on that. How are you doing on it? Oh, I want to work on my career. Okay, great. Let's work on that. So, I don't think all frameworks have to have step by step stuff. And also, not all frameworks have values, beliefs, principles, ideas. Some things are just steps. Hey, here's how you do, Facebook ads. You do this, and then this, and then this, and then this. There's really no principles or values to keep in mind. It's just, here's what you do. Understanding the world, I don't really know what that means. I think it's the context. I think you can fit a lot of stuff in there. So those of you who know Tad's work can chime in and defend his work. I'm not attacking his work. I'm just saying I think about it probably differently from that than he does, which is, by the way, this is how Tad says, hey, everybody has their own point of view, right? And the people who agree with your point of view, at least to some extent, get to work with you and can work with you, right? So, anyway, I hope that helps. Let's see here. And yeah, you can get to the summary of Tad's work, Tad's point of view idea right there. There's the link in session 2. And for those who are wondering, where is the session 2 document? Session 2, there it is in the chat. Okay, so the next question is, where is Google Drive? Because when you make copies of the documents from my courses, they land in your Google Drive. So where is Google Drive? Google Drive is at this link, drive.google.com. You can go there anytime you want, and I would just advise you to bookmark this link, drive.google.com, memorize it, bookmark it, go there every day, open it all the time, drive.google.com. That's where everything is. You go to drive.google.com, and it'll put additional words after that, but it's basically drive.google.com will take you there, okay? And you may have to log in. And after you log in, you click on Recent on the left-hand side. Okay, what's going on here? You go there again. You click on Recent on the left-hand side, and it'll bring you all the things you've worked on recently. And if it's not showing up in the recent area, then you just simply click on Search Drive at the top and search a word, framework. Hey, where's my framework? And press Enter. Press Enter, because when you first search Google Drive, it'll give you suggestions. Hey, do you mean this? Do you mean that? Do you mean any of these things? No, I just want to search, Google. So just press Enter or Return on your keyboard, and then you'll search and you'll find. I know this is some of the stuff is like very obvious for some of you, but it's also not obvious for a lot of you because I use Google Drive multiple times a day, so it's very obvious for me. So I don't talk about these things, but I know some of you are just getting used to this. I think Google Drive is like the best thing. I mean, I think it's better than Evernote. I don't know why people use Evernote still, honestly. Evernote's so clunky, in my opinion. Google Drive is free. It's free. It's got everything you need. Yes, Evernote probably has some bells and whistles, but I think Google Drive has everything that I need anyway. Let's see here. So it's a document you made private. Yeah, whenever you make a copy of any document in Google, you make a copy or use my links to make a copy, it's always private to you. Google Documents are always, always, always private to you unless you click on the share button and go through the whole thing of copying the link and sharing it with the world. Otherwise, it's private. There's no reason why it's not private. Or you can share it with specific people if you want. But I make my documents, anyone with a link can comment so that, as you all know, you can comment on my documents and make comments and make suggestions or whatever. But by default, it's private unless you click share, okay? So, and I apologize. Sometimes I sound, like I'm angry or something. I think it's because it's so obvious to me, this Google stuff, but it's not obvious to a lot of you, and I apologize. So you just have to learn it. You just have to use it. And once you do, then then you'll get angry with other people too who don't know Google Drive and Google Docs. Sorry about that. So, okay, so let's go ahead and do some feedback here. So who would like feedback on their framework? And Angie and Linda, thanks for chatting it in. Thanks for your bravery here. So let's talk about this. Let's actually look at Angie's doula client checklist here. And edit and collaborate Word docs. Yeah, you could do everything in Google Drive. You can now collaborate in Word documents. I no longer use Word. I no longer use Microsoft. For me, everything is Google now. Google Docs, Google Person Presentation, Google everything. I'm like, if Google is going to take over my brain and my life and the world and take over all privacy, you can't beat them. You might as well join them. Okay, you really cannot beat them. All right, it's too late, everybody. If you wanted to solve the privacy issue with the whole world, we should have done this back in the 2000s. But it's too late. Privacy is gone. There is no more privacy on the internet. You just have to assume everything you put online, some government agency is looking at you. Okay, so just relax. They're protecting you. Big Brother is a reality now, and we have to work with Big Brother instead of being afraid. And anyway, that's my lecture about Big Brother. So we'll do later, and yeah, 1982 is already here, so I apologize to everyone. So doula info checklist. All right, let's take a look at this. So see, frameworks are all different, right? So the way that Angie's doing the framework here is it's a checklist, and that's nice, and that is a framework. Why not? Why not? So first contact. So okay, so this is like kind of a worksheet for her, right? She set this up as a worksheet. That's nice. And access to client pages, prenatal meeting. Great. So yeah, this is a framework for working with clients, making sure that she is not forgetting anything. So I think that's great. And I think that's a great idea. And for me, I would do something like this in a spreadsheet, of course, as I do with everything. But yeah, I think all of us ought to have some kind of checklist with our clients, whether it's a singular checklist, or whether it's a document checklist like this, or whether it's a spreadsheet where you're following up and doing things there. So yeah, excellent, great. Let's take a look at and if there's any questions, Angie, you have on this stuff. Is everyone seeing my screen with Angie's checklist? Or are you seeing something else? Okay, great. Okay, thanks. Okay, so let's go on over to Linda's framework here, and let's take a look at this here. Great. All right. So Airbnb Aloha Healing Framework, great. Oh yeah, so Linda's doing an Airbnb experience on the Big Island of Hawaii, and use a gentle power of great. Aloha Healing Thoughts, good. So this is almost turning out to be a little bit of a, she's kind of turning her framework almost into a sales page as well, which is nice. So it's kind of using it for that too. Background, origin story. Healers from all parts of the world. I came here ill. Many teachers took me on a healing journey, and gratitude I share in my practice. Wonderful. Yeah, nice. Very concise. For whom is this? People visiting Hawaii. Visitors want to unwind. Try out Hawaiian spiritual healing. Good. Yeah, it's very clear. Yeah, so like then Linda has the person in mind as she's going through, working through the ingredients and to add to her framework stuff. So good. So yeah, she just got started on this, and that's great. Aloha healing thoughts, beliefs, much action words, and obviously these things mean a lot to Linda. She, just putting these things here, she probably already has a whole processes in mind and things like that, which Linda, you might want to, if it's helpful to you, you might want to add them here. Okay, what are the processes? How does somebody work on their thoughts or beliefs or emotions? Oh yeah, practices. Okay, action, words, share. And what does that mean? Get more specific. Only if it's useful to you. This is your own document, of course. So good, great. Okay. All right. Okay, so Caroline asks the question, and let me go back here. So Caroline asked the question, I've been struggling with scope of the framework. I'm trying to figure out if I should cover the whole of my business methodology, like the conscious business framework. That's what Caroline Leon does, conscious business. So should she do the whole business methodology or just an aspect of it? Every time I go work on it, I get a bit overwhelmed with all the aspects I could include. Great question. So we are going to cover that today, in fact. Okay, so let's see what other questions are there. I'm just taking a look here. I'm giving you a chance to also catch up on the chats. Okay, and Avi Noam also gave us access to his framework. Oh, it looks like I need to, yeah, so I guess I'll request access if you want to share it with me privately. But just FYI, I won't be giving any feedback privately to anybody. But during the sessions, like these class sessions or bonus Q&A, then I can give public or feedback in those environments. So, okay. Okay, says, have you tried Scrivener? I have several clients who use and love Scrivener, but I also have heard from a lot of people where Scrivener has a large learning curve. And I did try it out in the early days, and I just didn't like having to learn it. So I came up with my own system, just using my own documents to write my books. So I don't like having to learn a system so much, to be honest. So it wasn't very intuitive for me. But those of you who are willing to, like, there's classes on how to use Scrivener. It's like if you're willing to really learn it all the way, then it could become really good for you. So depends. Okay, so Gail chatted her framework in there. 3 steps to business success: develop personal awareness, energize, training attention, notice, expand awareness, open to connection, output great performance. Good, yeah. Looks like you've added some values in here. You've added some steps in here, and yeah, cool. Yeah, empathy, values, purpose, embracing a learning culture. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're working with a lot. There's going to be a lot of processes and case studies and things like that. So that's what I would look for in there. And then Chris Kisling, thank you for also sharing your framework with us. Finding your still point, turning down the noise, identifying the sources, externally oriented disturbance in your system, toxic high maintenance relationships, authority figures. That's great. So it's very clear here, identifying the sources, including these things. And of course, clients would want to talk with you about, well, would this be a toxic relationship, or would this be an authority figure? How do I work with that kind of person? But belief systems, of course, you would work with your clients on those things, responsibilities, dependencies. Yeah, it's nice that just kind of looking at this, I have a sense of what it is. I have a sense of seeing that I can almost visualize the work that the client would do with you. Identifying sources of internally oriented disturbance in your system. Yep. Okay. Cool. Yep. So these things, I'm glad that you don't have a whole lot of jargon in here, because I think a lot of people, or at least the people who are into personal growth, can kind of get these things. And when you start talking about this with potential clients, they're like, okay, yeah, I've heard of that. So that's nice. Moving stored energy, noticing. Yeah. Okay. Turning up the quiet, centered grounding practices, intention, choosing. Yeah, these are great. I mean, so far it looks good. Joining the dance. Okay. Yeah. You're working on that. So the cool thing about this is this can be turned into one-on-one client work. I had somebody actually emailed me this week saying, oh, George, I'm not sure this course is for me because I'm a coach. I want a coaching framework. I'm not sure this course is right. But Chris is displaying right here. He's created a framework for a coaching program or a coaching relationship with a client, or a mentoring or counseling or healing, however you want to call it, consulting. So this can be working with clients individually, or this can be a book, or this can be a series of courses, or this can be content, right? Chris can write an article just about what are high maintenance relationships. What are they? What are the different types of high maintenance relationships? And this is several articles, right? So that's a great thing about a framework, is you can use this in different ways, whether it's monetizing it with client work or writing content or, you know, writing a book or creating courses and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, all right. Okay, Angie says, how would you use spreadsheets for a framework, perhaps one page in the sheet per client? Yeah, let's actually work on that together. So to create a new sheet in Google, you literally just go to Google, just go to your URL and do sheet.new. Google has bought that domain. So if you do sheet.new, it'll automatically open up a brand new Google Sheet for you in your Google Drive. It's going to be in your Google Drive automatically. And you can name this client tracking or whatever you want. And I'll just give an example of how I would do this, right? So first contact via email standard circle of care. I don't know what those things mean, but I'm gonna put those in here. Okay, first contact. Okay, so name of client, name. You could do first and last name. Date of first contact, right? Contact, standard blurb, circle of care. So it's like, oh, George Cow, date of first contact, 7/24, and I would probably make these things centered so that they're nicer to look at, and I would make these things wrap. So I'm going fast because I know this stuff well, but you can slow down this video later, and in YouTube you can play the video more slowly. Drag this down so that it can scroll without that. Standards, yep, that's what I used. Jane Doe, I use Circle of Care. I might even add a row above, and I want to count these things. Count A. Count A means count the number of values. D3 to D. I usually like to do D2 to D 999 and then -1. So I'm not counting the heading row there. So that in the future, if I do a bunch of these and then I do some circle of care, and I can copy this over here, copy, paste. Oh yeah, 6 clients. Most of my clients got the standard. Some of my clients got the circle. So that's just a way that I would start tracking, right? It's like, did they pay? 2019 payments, 200. 150, and you can just kind of track things from there. So that's how I would do it, just as a start. Let's see here. Yeah, and like I said, I'm really good with spreadsheets now. I've been using it for many years. Some of you are just getting started with this amazing tool called, spreadsheets are just absolutely astoundingly useful, because you can then sort and I want to sort by the people that I saw. I want to sort by Mary and Bob or whatever. I want to sort by when did I last saw the people that I saw earliest, so I could sort by A to Z, and everything sorts by itself. Okay, Bob's row will come up at the top because you saw him first. So anyway, it's really useful to use spreadsheets this way. And okay, all right, let's continue on here for today's stuff. Okay, so if you want some feedback, or if you want to learn more about spreadsheets and how you might use it for yourself, come to the bonus Q&A. I'll walk through with you your own personal spreadsheet that's created together. How's that? Okay, all right. So let's now start to organize your framework stuff. So this is back to Caroline's, and probably a lot of you have this question, like, okay, what is the scope? Should I create the framework for my entire philosophy of the world? Or should I just create the framework for like one aspect of how I work with clients? My answer is all of the above. Why wouldn't you create all of the above? You should create a framework document for anything you can't keep in your head, or anything you don't wish to keep in your head in terms of how you work with people or how you think about a particular subject. A new framework document, okay? Anything that's important enough to you to not keep just in your head, and not, I think keeping things in our head is stressful. I don't like to keep things in my head. So, so basically, I would recommend that you create a Google Drive folder, okay, called Frameworks. And how do you create a Google Drive folder? You go to Google Drive, which, remember, how do you go to Google Drive? Pop quiz, drive.google.com. Everyone repeat after me, okay? Memorize that link, go there often. Go to Google Drive and click New on the top left. And when you click New on the top left, you can create a folder in Google Drive. Okay, again, Google Drive, click New on the top left, click Folder, and then you could say My Frameworks. Okay, and then press Enter on your keyboard or Return, or you could click on Create, whichever one you want to do. And once you do that, it's now in your Google Drive. It'll show up in, and then you can put it at the very top if you want to by renaming it by right-clicking or control click, and you can rename stuff. And if I were to like go into all the technical stuff, this class would be 18 hours long. So I can't go into all the text with you. So I know some of you are behind in the tech. You can just come to the bonus Q&A. I'm happy to walk you through anything technical in the bonus Q&A, or you can ask somebody near you who lives with you or around you, can visit you, who's more tech savvy, and they can walk through everything with you. You can always put an asterisk in the beginning of something, or any kind of symbols. We'll tend to put it at the very top of the alphabetical order, right? Because it by default sorted by name. You can also sort by last modified or whatever you want. But anyway, I just renamed it now. It's at the top because it has an asterisk there, which is above. Before A is symbols, or certain symbols anyway, okay? All right, and once you have My Frameworks there, you can start putting your documents in there, okay? So let's say that someone gave this to me. But I'll just say that, let's say that this was, this is not a good thing. Let's say that I've created a framework. I'm just gonna pretend I'm creating a framework here, okay? I would recommend that you create a Google document. Again, how do you create a Google Doc? Go to Google Drive, click on New, and then click on Google Docs, and just go and click on that, and that'll create a brand new document for you. I would advise you create a document called Main Framework or something, or like All My Frameworks, or whatever, okay? And then create that, and then this is your entire philosophy of the entire world, an entire worldview of everything. What you think of politics, religion, I mean, whatever you want, or just your entire business philosophy. And this is where, you know, Caroline Leon would create this as for her conscious business philosophy, or whatever the entire thing is. And then in this document, you will put links to your frameworks that are underneath that. So let's say I'm creating a framework entirely for how I work with clients, okay? And one part of how I work with clients is on their, I work with them on their, let's say I work with them on their mindfulness. I also work with them on their relationships. I also work with them on their health. So then it's like mindfulness framework, okay, cool. And then health framework, great. Relationship framework. So you just kind of put these things in here, and then you link them to your framework document, or your whatever document you've created for that. So you highlight this, you click on the link button in the toolbar. Look at that. Look at the link button in the toolbar up there. You highlight it, you click on the link button, and then you basically, what's the link? Well, if you've created the document, you can just search for it. So if I search mindfulness, okay, it's now searching all of my mindfulness documents, plus it's even searching the internet, the entire internet. G means the entire internet. And this icon, blue icon, these are my documents. Okay, so if this was my mindfulness, and if you want to get the exact link, then just go to Google Drive. Okay, you could let me just show you here. Let me just show you. Okay, mindfulness framework. Okay, let's say I have that. Okay, that's not the right link, obviously, but let's say that was the right link. I click on it, okay, and I click apply, and now this is linked to my mindfulness framework. This is obviously the wrong one, but you see what I mean. If you want to see more search results, well, there is. Let me just show you here. Health framework. I don't have one on health framework, but and then I could basically click on find more. And then find more. It pops up this right-hand search, and I can click on Drive. Okay, click on Drive, and it'll show me all of my documents that Google thinks, you know what, based on your search health framework, these are probably what you're looking for. Okay, and you could just click on whatever it is. I'm just going to click on this one. It's probably not the right one, but oh, it opens it for you. Okay, opens it for you. Okay. I can't link it then. That's weird. Okay, it opens it for you, and then you copy the link. So you copy the link at the very top, Okay, you put it in, you go back, okay, and then you, let me X out the sidebar here. You find the link, insert link, paste it in, click apply, and there it is. And it'll tell you when you highlight over it, oh, is it the right one? Is that your health framework? And you can click on that to open it if you want to. So that's how you create just a simple document of all your frameworks. And then once you've created all your frameworks document, you should click on Move To. Okay, move to this folder icon on the top here, Move To. And then you find the My Frameworks. You click on it, and you click Move, or you can either do that, click Move, or you can click on the arrow to make sure you're actually in it, and you click Move here. There it is. So now all my framework has been moved from My Drive to My Frameworks. So now when you double click on My Frameworks in Google Drive, all my frameworks are there. And you double click on it and you've opened it. Mindfulness framework, let's go ahead and click on it. This is not the right one, like I said, but anyway, if that was my mindfulness framework, there it is. Okay. All right, and then with your other frameworks, let's say this was my mindfulness framework. Okay, let's say this was my mindfulness framework. Once I open it, I can also click Move To, and I would find. I'm not going to move it right now, but I could then find the correct folder. Mindfulness. Yes, I want to move it here. I only click Move here. Okay, but I'm not going to do that right now because that's going to move. That's going to screw things up. Okay. Any questions about this as we going? But I've gone pretty slow with the tech here. I know some of you are still bewildered with Google technology. Come to the bonus Q&A or find someone next to you who can help you in person. In-person tech help is the best because they can say, wait, why are you clicking there? No, you got to click here, right? They can be very helpful for you. So find a tech-savvy person next to you and say, okay, you got to help me with Google Drive here. Google Drive has tried to make things, tech intuitive, but some of you didn't grow up with computers, so you're not as quickly, quick step. That's okay. You just have to have someone teach you, and once you're taught, once you practice, then you become one of the people for whom it's intuitive, and then you get to teach other people. Okay. So is that helpful just to kind of get a sense of the scope can be as big as you want as long as you have a document that contains all your frameworks and you can go as drill down as much as you want, right? Mindfulness framework, and then you might have underneath there, breathing framework. And then you would create a framework document just for breathing. And then you would link it here, okay? And in terms of the document, for each framework document, you can either just start fresh and just type your ideas in, or if you want to use our template is in session one, right? Draft your framework, and you can make a private copy, you can make as many copies as you want of the framework template. You click on this, and then you say, hey, do you want to make a copy of the framework template? And you can make as many copies as you want. Whenever you make a copy of it, what do? Move it to the right place. Now, actually, two things you should do when you make a copy of a template. You rename it, my breathing framework, okay? You rename it. Now that you've made a private copy, you see it's private because it's a lockbox here. And then you move it. You name it, and then you move it to the right place. You move it to your, guess what? Your frameworks drive folder, okay? Move it there. Cool. So now you can see in my frameworks drive folder is breathing framework. And I also want to make sure, third thing to do is to get the link of the breathing framework and put it into all my frameworks, okay? So everything's organized like this. Does that make sense? Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay. So if everything's organized, everything's linked together, it's like all in one place. This is your entire worldview. It's all backed up instantly. As long as you're on the internet, it's always back. Every single letter you type is backed up. And you can even click on file and click on version history to see every single version. Like if you made a giant mistake and you deleted everything, you can always go back to version history and says, hey, I want to restore this version. Okay, again, if you don't know how to do version history, go to Google, google.com, and then search how do I use Google Docs version history? And then, use lots and lots of articles, about this. Google Docs version history. You will never be afraid of deleting everything in any document. Oh my God, I just made a mistake. I just deleted everything. No problem. You can either click on undo, okay, undo, or you can click on file version history if it was several versions ago, and you can restore any previous version. So it's better than keeping stuff on your computer, because your computer can die and then you've lost everything. In Google Docs, I have nothing on my computer. My computer is so empty. Everything is in the cloud because I trust Google more than I trust my own computer, right? Google has not, I've been using Google since 2004. It's never failed me, but my computer has failed me multiple times. What about you, right? I've switched computers. It doesn't matter which computer I go to. I can log into my Google account. Everything is there. So, and it's all private. My Google account has never been hacked. It's safer than my house. Okay, my Google Doc is safer than my house. All right, and safer than paper because you can lose papers easily. Now, not in Google. It's all there. All right, you can take photos and you can upload to Google Drive too. You can click on new and click on file upload or upload entire folders from your computer to Google Drive for backup, safekeeping. Okay. All right. Let's keep going here because otherwise we'll take another 18 hours talking about Google technology here. Okay. So I've talked about this. I've already talked about. Okay, outlining. If you prefer to do a really sophisticated outline, Nathan Lively is one of my clients. He really likes the Workflowy tool. So I say, hey, Nathan, you're the only guy I know who really uses Workflowy very much. So why don't you give me your referral link? So when I talk about Workflowy, I can put your referral link in there. So, I just want to support Nathan. And Workflowy is as a paid software. It's not that much. I don't know how much it is, but it's affordable. And it's really, really sophisticated outlining software. It's really cool because you can link to any part of your outline and you can make any part of your outline private. It's amazing. So look at that if you're interested in more linear outlining. Or if you like mind mapping, MindMeister is my favorite tool. MindMup is second up. MindMup is more free features. MindMeister, you got to pay for it after 3 maps, but it's much better, I think, in my opinion. Okay. So let's talk about when you're organizing your content, okay, headings and table of contents. Okay, so this is really useful, okay? So you could say, when you are when you're in Google, okay, let's say my relationship framework, okay, you can basically click on normal text. When you're on any line, click on normal text, and then you could choose any of the, let's say I'm going to choose heading 1, okay? And I'm going to make mindfulness heading 2, okay? And I'm going to make my breathing framework heading 3, okay? And I'll just show you what happens. Once you've created these things, these headings and things, now you can click on Insert, and you can click on Table of Contents. Let's try that. Is it doing it? Insert. Oh, wait, hold on. Table of contents. Oh, sorry. Insert table of contents, and you have to choose whether you want page numbers or no page numbers. I'll just do with page numbers. And now instantly, it'll create a table of contents for you, an outline, instant outline, based on how you did the headings, and these are all based on levels. Okay, and so those are 3 levels right there. And if I want to jump to my breathing framework, I can click on here and click here, and jumps right to my. So that's how you use. Again, rewind this video, slow it down. I'm just going to keep going here. By the way, we're halfway through the course hour here, or 75 minutes. So let's go and stretch if you haven't already. I want to remind you, make you stretch, make you, turn around, or do whatever you need to do to breathe and take care of yourself. Okay. All right, let's go back to the document here. Okay, and then in terms of organizing your content, you can either do a simple document like a framework document and just start putting your content in here into bullet points, or you could use a spreadsheet and you can make a private copy of the spreadsheet. Now this is only for those of you who don't mind using spreadsheets or might even eventually enjoy using them. You can make a private copy there. I'm just going to look at the master template, and you can ask questions in the master template. Okay, you can in the master template you can click on any cell and click on insert. You can click on comment, and that's how you ask me questions about anything. Okay, but if you're going to make a private copy, that's how you do it in this highlighted link there. It'll ask you if you want to make a copy of it. Okay. So basically, I'm just going to talk through this quickly for those of you who don't mind spreadsheets. This is a simple way of, in fact, I'm going to just name this as simple template for tracking your content. So your content title, how to breathe. I posted this today. The core message of the content, or how to breathe when you have things, when you are overwhelmed by life, blah, 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 blah. Okay, maybe that's my title. And then what's the core message? The core message is how to breathe. Okay, that's one of my core messages, let's say, for example. What's the main format? And if you're not sure about anything, you could always move your mouse over that. Wherever there's a black triangle, you can move your mouse over it and see what the suggested things are. So it's like, okay, this was a video. I made a video here. What's the like percentage means? It means basically after 3 days, you do a simple, like, how many likes divided by how much reach. Okay, this reached 100 people and I got 2 likes. So equals 2 divided by 100 equals, okay, that was 2%. Oh, you know what I need to do? I forgot. I need to make this into a percentage. So there you go. Okay. All right. What's the link of it? And then you go to Facebook or you go to YouTube or whatever, you paste the link there. Date integrated, what does that mean? The date you integrated this piece of content into your framework. Oh, yeah, okay. That reminds me, I gotta integrate this. Okay, so let me go ahead and integrate this into my framework. This is my breathing framework, and I'm going to make sure that this is in my content area. So I gotta remember to I'm gonna remember to integrate this piece of content the next time I'm working on my breathing framework. Okay. Okay, and then topic A, topic B, this is basically like, this is your framework basically. I'm assuming you have 5 parts of your framework, and maybe you have more, but maybe this is about holistic health. Okay. Okay. So yes, this was part of my holistic health, part of my framework. Okay. So this is just a way to organize your content. You can have as many rows as you want. You can, I put 20 something in here, but you can add as many as you want and just keep going from there. Here's an example of how you might use it. Here's an example of how I do it. Okay. And then the advanced template, okay, is for those who really like spreadsheets. And this is the kind of stuff I use. And I find it very useful. I have hundreds of rows. This is where I put all my content. And the nice thing is, breathing when you're overwhelmed. Okay. The first 2 lines of whatever it is, or the keywords, breathing, mindfulness. These are just a way for you to quickly find this in the future, because when you have a lot of stuff, you can basically click edit and find and go, so where did I write that thing about breathing? You can find breathing and click find, and it'll breathing. Oh, it'll show you. Oh, no more results looping around. It's kind of showing you. Actually, it's much better to just Control F or Command F. Command F on the Mac, Control F on the Windows, and that brings it up here on the top. That's much easier. Breathing. Oh yeah, there it is. Where did I write about mindfulness? Mindfulness. Ah, there it is. So the keywords is just a way for you to track things for your search later. The link. Oh yeah, when did you put it on your blog? I put this on my blog on 7/24. When did you put it on your Facebook page? Yes, I did. 7/24. Oh yeah, did you put it on your Facebook personal profile? Yes, I posted on my personal timeline on August 1st. Did you upload a basic YouTube video? These are all optional, but these are kind of reminders for you to say, did you do it here? When did you do it? And these are dates that automatically are going to show you sort of the latest of when you did these things. Let's say you haven't uploaded a YouTube video since February, then it'll say, oh, February. That was the last time you did that. Wow. Okay. So ABCD, what are these things? These are all framework topics. Okay, so maybe you get health. Okay, health, relationships, It's just a few letters to so you know what these things are about. Yes, this is about health. This is definitely very related. This is a little bit about relationships. I'll give this a score of 2. This is not exactly 1, but this is a score of 2. Um, Maybe if I want to score it 1, 2, 3, for example. And over time, as you have different topics, and this is going to be about money. Okay, great. Okay. And this is going to be about I don't know, whatever your framework topics are. And over time, as you do various content topics, you're going to start to see, oh, I write a lot about relationships. I don't write so much about health. Maybe I should do more of that. That gives you a count. Oh, I haven't written anything about money. If that's part of your framework, if that's what you want to be known for as well. So that's the count at the top. Again, this is only for those of you who love spreadsheets. Those of you who don't like spreadsheets, just bear with me for another minute, okay? Facebook page reach. This reached 350 people. How many likes did it get? It got 5 likes. Okay, the percentage. Why is this blank? Facebook page like percentage. Okay. You know, if you know spreadsheets, you probably know you could just do this to equals this divided by this, and then you can just copy that down. Okay, into all the different things. But it'll say div 0, so just when you have numbers, then you can copy them down. Okay. How many personal page likes when you put on your personal profile? This is just for your own tracking. You can also add more columns and rows or add more columns if you want to track different things. Frequency is how many months. How often do I want to post this piece of content again? I want to post this every 12 months. Okay, well then the next time you're going to post it again is July 26th of next year. Okay, this should have the year associated to it. Okay, great. So anyway, this is the advanced spreadsheet. I just kind of quickly went through that. Ignore it if you don't like spreadsheets. Any questions before we move on? Okay. All right, let's talk about your rhythm of actually doing this stuff. Because I do all these tracking things. I tell you, I don't have an assistant. I do everything in my business, and I still have a very good work-life balance. So if you, I mean, some of you have a lot more going on in your life, but it really, it's really possible if you do it. Again, you don't have to use a spreadsheet. You can use a document. But if you don't let it pile up, it's very, very doable. So let's talk about this. This is maybe the most important thing that I can tell you in the whole framework course. One of the reasons you don't have a framework right now, or you don't have one that's updated, is you need to work on, a lot of you do, I know maybe not all of you, but a lot of you need to work on your discipline of capturing, categorizing, and calendaring. I've been working on this for years. And that's why it's become second nature for me. And that's why my frameworks keep on improving themselves almost automatically, because I have this kind of system. And I really encourage you to find a system that works for you. I'm going to share with you my system, and then I encourage you to customize it, make it your personality, make it something that you feel really, really good about. Okay? Okay. So capture, categorize, calendar is a framework, Chris. Exactly. Another framework, right? Frameworks are everywhere. This is just a sub framework. Capture, categorize, calendar is a sub framework within my Joyful Productivity, which is a sub framework within Authentic Business Principles. Right? So it's all connected. Everything's like connected in my brain, but it's also connected on the document, right? So first of all, how will you capture ideas? And we've talked about this, I think, in the previous session, but basically, whenever you have an idea that you think, gosh, this is important, this is something I might work with clients on, this is a piece of a blog post I might write, an okay but clunky way is to immediately open the framework document and put it into the ingredients. I say it's clunky because you got to open Google Drive, which is how? drive.google.com. You got to open Google Drive. You got to go into My Frameworks. You got to find the correct framework, and then you got to go. Oh yes, I want to write. I want to write an article about breathing. So now I'm going to write an article about breathing when you are having a hard day. Okay. Okay, great. But then that's kind of clunky to do. So what I do instead, I think it's more practical to have a tool like your phone, okay, that you can quickly capture ideas. So those of you who carry a phone with you all the time, put it on. Find an app. What and let's have a poll here. Those of you who use a phone to capture ideas, what app do you use? Go ahead and put that in. Yeah, a lot of people use Google Keep. Some people use Notes on the iPhone, or Android might have another. Android is probably Google Keep. Google Keep, if you're using Android phone, download Google Keep. It's awesome because it's always automatically synced to your web. It's always synced, instantly to the web. Keep.google.com. It's on the web, on your computer. Keep.google.com. That's how you get there. Okay. Todoist, some of you use Trello, Evernote, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, great. And Google Keep is on iPhone also. Yeah, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Okay, so capture your ideas in Google Keep or in Trello or Evernote or Todoist or wherever. And then once a day or once a week, you then sit down for half an hour, okay, or 15 minutes. If it's once a day, it just takes you 5 minutes maybe or 10 minutes. And you just quickly open your Google Drive, go to your frameworks folder, and start opening up the documents to put those ideas into the right documents. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's a once a day process. Once a day, it takes you 5 minutes. Once a week, 30 minutes, maybe. Okay, so it's probably, I like to do it once a day just because I like to clear everything, but I think once a week actually is probably more efficient because you're batching the task into just once a week. But if you do it more than once a week, once a month, it starts to get a little bit overwhelming maybe. But so once a week is a nice medium there. Okay, once a day and daily once a week. Okay, so categorizing rhythm every day, every week. I'm going to start recommending every once a week. Okay. So on Todoist, you might have a project called Framework Ideas, and then you just open your Todoist, go to that project, and start putting your ideas in there. And then once a week, you go into Todoist and you start putting those ideas into the correct framework documents, and then checking them off of your Todoist. So that's how you clear everything every week. Your framework is always improving itself. Okay. Now, besides capturing and categorizing, your framework is useless unless you actually, well, it's useful to you, but it's not useful to your business or it's not useful to the world unless you actually put it out there in the world. So let's actually talk about your framework publishing rhythm. Okay. So I'm going to talk about articles, videos, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So let's kind of go through that framework publishing rhythm. Okay. So the most simplest way of thinking about publishing your framework, of course, is just when you write. And this is the foundational way. You just put pieces of your framework out there, or you can put the whole framework out there in 500 words or in 1,000 words. Challenge yourself. How can I summarize my framework in 1,000 words or in 500 words or even 300 words? Okay. So here are some ideas for articles. What can you write? Articles are blog posts or social media text-only posts. An overview of your framework once in a while. This is what I do. I find myself like at least once a year, I say, all right, here is how I think about authentic business. Here is how I think about authentic marketing. Here's my entire framework in just 700 words. And I write it once a year without looking at the previous version because I want to see what's going to come out right now, this year, how I'm thinking about it now. It's really useful for all of us to do this practice once a year. Here's my whole framework in 500 or 1,000 words or 1,500 words, okay? Probably not more than 1,500 words because otherwise it gets to be, you're basically writing a short book at that point. So just try to get a 1,500 words or less is my recommendation. Okay, another article idea. Well, what's one aspect of your framework? So like I said, if my framework is about holistic healing, here's my holistic health framework in 1,000 words. Great. Okay, my next article, I'm going to write about how to breathe. That's one aspect of my framework. And why is breathing important? And how do you do it? Okay. Okay. So that's one aspect of it. Okay. How one of the following relates to your framework. Okay, current event in the news. How do you breathe when you see Donald Trump tweeting? Current event, okay? A client's experience of working with you, recent or past. Oh yes, 3 years ago, I had a client who didn't know how to breathe. I taught her how to breathe. And I'm going to write an article about that. Maybe it'll have some tips for you on how to breathe. Okay, some experience from your life. I didn't know how to breathe until I came out of the womb. Here's my experience of that. Here's how I learned how to breathe. No, I'm making a joke. Breathing is a serious thing, of course, and there's breath work, and serious work around that. Okay, so how one aspect of my framework relates to the 3 bullet points above. I'm sorry. This is what I've been talking about. What I meant here, how your framework overall. Okay. How does holistic health relate to, relate to the current this debate over vaccination? Okay, let me talk about that. How does holistic health relate to the current debate on vaccination, current event in the news, right? How does holistic health relate to one of my clients' experiences? Why is holistic health important in a recent experience I had? I don't know. So that's what I mean. Like, you can do the framework overall with any of these 3 things, or any one aspect can be talked about with any of these 3 things, or a specific detail within one aspect of your framework. So if you're working on breath work, let me talk about one detail about breath work. Now, how do we breathe with alternating nostrils? Okay, so that's, write an article about that. Okay. So good minimum rhythm is 1 time a week. I recommend that to you. I think that's a nice thing to commit to, is 1 time a week. Okay. Now, basically, under each of these bullet points, I have an entire course. I've already taught entire courses on each one of these things. So if you want to go into 3 to 6 hours on any of these things, you can buy that course if you want to. But I'm just kind of giving you a really quick summary of these different areas of how you publish a framework. Videos. The simplest thing to think about is make videos based on so write first. Most of you probably think through writing, and then you can make a video after you've written it out. You can kind of talk about it. Your videos don't have to be the transcript of your article. This is how I think about my videos. My videos, I do Facebook Lives. I think that's the easiest way to make videos, okay? My videos are basically my off-the-cuff, passionate rant on the topic of which I wrote an article. I don't care if my video doesn't cover all the points in my article. This is really important. Because if you pressure yourself to say, I got to cover these 10 points I made in the article, you're going to seem really artificial in your video. Well, not artificial. You can always look down at your notes, but it'll just be like a little bit too pressury. I think videos are really ideal for off-the-cuff rants or in-the-moment feeling about a topic. That's what videos are really good for. Otherwise, why would you just do a lecture where you're reading? That's boring. But if you're just talking about your passionate ideas about that topic, you kind of read the article first, you put it aside, and don't look at the notes. Don't look at the article. You just talk based on whatever is on your mind. And some of the stuff I say in my videos all the time are stuff that's not in the article. That happens all the time. But that's the brilliance of it, because now people can say, I read George's articles, but I also watch his videos because there's stuff in the videos that aren't in the articles, and vice versa, right? Okay. By the way, just a quick etiquette note. If you need to get going in a live session, please don't mention it in the chat, because it discourages me, and it could discourage other people as well. Like, oh, maybe I should go too. You see what I mean? So this is just like for everybody who goes to any speaker event. It's kind of like you're in the speaker event and you walk out of the room. That discourages the speaker. Now you can sneak out without the speaker seeing. That'd be great. But here in the chat, like, hey, everybody, I'm going now. Oh yeah, I should go too. And everyone leaves. That's why I always tell people, don't tell me you're leaving. That's the worst thing you can tell me in a chat. So I know a lot of you don't realize. Everyone's trying to be really polite. I should announce to everybody, I am leaving now. Sorry, I had to say that. I guess I'm kind of not in a good space today, so I apologize. Okay, so everyone has their bad days. This is one of my bad days. Okay, courses is another way to publish your your framework. And this is the monetized way. And as you know, this is how I love to publish my framework all the time. You know, as you can see, my framework is about authentic business, and then I have different parts of my framework. Every aspect of my framework is turned into its own course because every aspect is its own framework. It's fractals all the way down. And each part of the fractal can be a course. So that's it. Can I create online courses? Do you write video or do you write articles and create videos? Then yes, you can create online courses, because an online course is basically a collection of articles and videos. Okay, that's what an online course is. So, you know, there are courses that are just written also. They're written courses. I mean, if you go to Daily Ohm, those are written courses. Not all of them. Some of them have videos and audios, but a lot of the Daily Ohm courses are just writings. So, and people pay for that, you know? Okay. Yeah, the whole, I could teach once a year. I teach an overview course about authentic business, and that's in December. I always teach that in December. And then for the rest of the year, I teach one aspect of my framework, you know, once a month or once every 2 months. Or you could even teach a single tool within one aspect of your framework. So one, you know, marketing is one aspect of my framework, and then I can teach Facebook ads as one tool within that as a course, right? Good minimum for launching an online course. I think twice a year. I really think it's doable for everybody, even if you're working your business part-time, to aim to create a course twice, you know, once every 6 months. The course doesn't have to be super fancy. It can be, well, my courses are pretty minimalistic, right? It's 3 sessions. I teach with a Google document. There is nothing fancy about this course. This is just my ideas. The only fancy thing is I practice this a lot, so my delivery is probably more exciting than most people's. I don't know, maybe not. All right. So, but I do it 8 to 10 times a year. I do at least 8 courses a year. And the more courses you do, the more. And I'll just give you an encouragement about courses. If you say, listen, I have tried teaching. I launched a course and nobody bought it, so that's why I stopped launching courses. How many of you have that experience? Or I launched 2 courses. Nobody bought those 2. So therefore I stopped. Here's what you should do. The first couple of courses you launch, probably no one is going to buy it. That's normal. Because people aren't used to you teaching courses yet. So what you got to do, the first 3 to 5 courses you launch, no one's going to buy it, maybe. If anyone buys it, hallelujah, you know, praise the Lord. That's a wonderful bonus. But the first couple courses you launch, don't expect any purchases. So you've got to basically launch it as if people might buy it. And then, you know, 3 days or 1 week before the course starts, recruit your friends, recruit your colleagues to come to the course for free. Okay? And once your audience sees a rhythm of you launching courses, guess what? They're now going to expect you to launch courses, and now they'll start to buy because they're like, oh, she's serious here. She's going to do this. Great. Okay. So that's how you do it. Don't give up on 3 to 5 courses nobody bought. That's what you didn't do, is you didn't recruit maybe you did. Maybe you were, you know, maybe someone taught you to do that. You were like, oh yeah, whether, you know, I might as well give this access to my friends. Right? That's how you do it in the beginning. That's how I did it in the beginning. Really, in the first, when I started teaching, I started teaching courses 2009. But when I relaunched my whole course rhythm in 2015 or 2016, I'm trying to remember here. I think it was 2015. I gave my courses away for free the first year. I did, I think, 6 courses was it 6 courses that first year? All of them were given away for free. And then the second year I started charging for them. Now, I don't really recommend that. I recommend that you start charging right away, but, you know, under the table, you invite your friends to come for free. Okay? And to give you feedback. Does that make sense? Then people will start paying for your courses after that. Okay. Books is, of course, another obvious way you should publish your framework. And a book, this is how I think of books. the simplest way to write a book is just to collect your articles together, put them into themes, and then you might have 2 or 3 books right there. Or you put it into different sections of chapters. Okay. Here is another encouragement for the book writing is this. Short books will tend to be read and reviewed more than long books. One of my clients, just very proud of him, he just published a book called Grief to Growth. Give Brian a plug here, growth.com. That's his website. He just published a book, and within 10 minutes of reading it, I was already 25% of the way through. So the entire book only takes about 45 minutes to read. And so once people read it, they're much more likely to review it, okay? So, and also a short book gives people a great sense of accomplishment. Oh, I finished reading a book. How great. And plus, it's easier for you to edit and get some volunteer editors or pay editors or whatever you need to get it out there. So think about it this way. Just like earlier on when we, here, okay, you can write a book, a short book that gives an overview of your framework. I would recommend that you start writing books that are specific aspects of your framework first. So write a couple of short books. Short book can be, let's see here, anywhere starting with 3,000 words. 3,000 words. You've already written 3,000 words this week. Or the last 30 days, you probably wrote 3,000 words, right? So 3,000 to 10,000 word short books are really popular on Kindle right now, and printed as well. It's a thin book, but so start writing short books with each aspect of your framework, and then you can do an overview book that refers to your other books. The people will now start to buy your other books too. So okay. So anyway, that's the book thing. You can update your books also every couple of years. So don't be so concerned that, oh my God, my first books have to be so polished. My first book was not polished, and it sold really well. It had typos in it. One of my clients wrote to me personally and said, George, you really should take this book off of the publishing. It's not good. I kept it up there, and it still sells well. People still review it well. And guess what? Next year, I published it in 2017. Guess what? 2020 is coming out with a second edition, and I'm going to make all the changes that were suggested. I'm still alive when I published a bad book. I'm still here. My business is still thriving. People didn't leave me. People still bought, and the people who didn't like my first book, including that client who said you should unpublish it, bought my second book and my third book. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can publish a second, third edition anytime. Okay, so how often? Every 2 years. I recommend you publish a book or a second edition or third edition of a book every 2 years. I've already published 4 books, so I did it every 6 months. So that was my rhythm, every 6 months until I got to my 4 books that I wanted to write out there. And then now going forward, I'm just going to do once a year. I'm going to update one of the previous books. So, group programs, a wonderful way to leverage your framework. And it's hard to launch a group program unless you have a framework. It's hard to just tell people, hey, pay me every month. We're just going to get together and have some calls. It's hard for people to say yes to that. But if you say, hey, let's get together for a year as a group, as a community, you all believe in my framework because I've been writing about it for a year now, or I've been making videos about it. I've been creating courses about it. Let's get together in a group and let's work through the framework together. And people love that, especially the ones who have gotten exposure to your framework already, okay? So it could be a 3-month program, 12-month program, and however, let's say you have 10 parts to your framework and you're doing a 3-month program. Then each month you cover about 3 to 4 parts, right? So you just divide up how many parts your framework is into how many months your program is. But let's say you have a 3-part framework and you have a 12-month program. Well, then you can maybe run through the whole framework 3 times in those 12 months. And in between months, you could do Q&A, or you can, so it's a cool way to just think about your frameworks or think about your group programs. Okay, finally, let's wrap up here. So here's your homework, should you choose to accept it. Part 1, we started doing this. I showed you this, but put a main document where you put all your frameworks, a main document as well as a My Frameworks folder. You don't have to use Google. I use it, but if you use Evernote, that's fine. If you use your computer, that's fine. But put a single folder together for your frameworks and create a single document that links to or mentions, all your other frameworks. Okay. Just do that, and you feel so good. You feel like, okay, I got it here in one place. My worldview, my take on things, right? Okay. Decide how you will organize your content. What I mean by that is, will you organize it in a single document? Okay, here's my breathing framework. I'm just going to organize it here. Or will you organize it with a simple template or with a fancy template, spreadsheet, sorry. So make a decision, and then this week, start organizing your content. I'm really looking forward to seeing you do this, because then now you're like, okay, great. I now don't feel like I'm just putting stuff out there and I forget where I wrote what and it's all over the place. No, it's in one place now, okay? All right, decide on your capture tool. I think most of you already have one, but decide, am I gonna use Todoist? Use it. Am I gonna use Google Keep? Use it. Both are great tools, or Evernote, or whatever you do. And then your rhythm. Okay, when am I going to put my Todoist stuff into my framework documents? Once a month, once a week? Probably once a week is a good one, okay? Decide on your framework publishing rhythms. Okay, so go back into these sections and say, all right, George recommends 2 times a year. Am I gonna do that? Or am I gonna do once every 4 months, or once every 3 months, okay? So make a decision on these things. Or you could say, hey, listen, I'm not going to start doing this till 2020 or next year, whatever. That's fine too. But I want you to make a decision. So that way, when you work on your framework, it's not just kind of in vacuum, like, am I just doing this in my closet? No, I'm doing this because there's a goal in mind. I'm publishing my book next year. I'm going to start a course on this next year. You have these things in mind. Or, I'm going to be making a video about this. I'm going to be making an article about this. Decide your publishing rhythms, okay? Apply your framework to creating content this week. So now, going forward, instead of just writing on whatever's on top of your head, now you can go, you know what? I'm going to go in my frameworks now. This week I'm going to write about breathing. I'm going to write about breathing when times are tough in your family. All right, great. I'm going to write about that. Okay. And then, of course, email me questions or comment on any part of this document, or comment below the video. I would love to take your questions in the final session, or if you wrote the comment in the YouTube video, I will answer it within a few business days. I'll answer it there. And please, pretty please, fill out the feedback form. I would love to know what you thought of this session. Okay. All right. Everyone got the feedback form there. I'm just going to catch up on some chats here and see if there's any questions as we close out this session. Okay, great. So, Kay says you said write once a week, not daily. I think once a week is a minimum rhythm, but if you are willing to commit to a daily rhythm, I think daily, there's a magic to daily for any habit that you want to develop or any skill you want to get good at quickly. Daily is the magic, because daily, there's no question you're going to do it. So the habit gets formed, and also the skill development is faster when you do it daily. So that's up to you. But I think once a week is a minimum. So for example, for my side project, Soul Gym, which I've revealed to the world now, I write once a week, because I only do it for like 90 minutes a week on my side project. So I do it once a week. So. Okay, all right. I'm excited to see you organize your framework into one place. Ask me any questions you have as you go about the process of organizing, and think about your publishing rhythm. Okay, I'm excited for you to actually get your framework out there, because that's how you start to build an audience or grow your audience, monetize your ideas, etc. Okay. All right, everyone. I will see you in session 3. I will see you then. Thank you.